guys, guess freaking what? I'm running a half marathon. I signed up to run a half marathon, but guess who doesn't run? Me. But let's fast forward because I've already been training for going on 7 weeks now. So let's fast forward to 7 weeks beforehand. I had never ran really in my life. Like if I ran 2 or 3 miles, I stopped guaranteed at least 4 times to catch my breath. I knew absolutely nothing about running. I was intimidated by it. If anybody asked me to go running or if I would ever do a marathon or anything, I always told them they were crazy. So if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering a few things. Maybe you're here to watch this just to support me. Hey, what's up? My name's Ashley Flores. 2, maybe you are training yourself for your first half marathon and you just want to have some motivation. 3, you want to get into running and you want to learn some things that I've learned in the last 7 weeks. I have no idea why you're here, but I'm grateful that you're here. Welcome, and if you enjoy this video, please subscribe. So, for starters, why did I decide to run a half marathon when I'm not a runner? Like, I'm not a runner at all. Let me throw up my hair for this because we're about to get into all the details of freaking everything I could possibly think of that you would need as a beginner to intermediate for running. Let's just say beginner because I'm not an intermediate, who am I kidding? I struggle with self-doubt. I've struggled my whole life with self-doubt. I had to go to therapy multiple times because I put my self-worth in other people's hands. I lacked confidence, self-esteem, personal strength, and I had, why am I getting emotional when I just started? I had the best poker face there was on hiding my fears. And you're probably like, I thought I came to this video about running. You did. So I decided, I woke up one day and I did a workout class with a friend and somebody was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a marathon? And this wasn't the first time that I've been asked this. And I'm sure it wasn't going to be my last. And I thought about it and I was like, no. And I actually said, no. And she was like, why not? When she said, why not? The only excuse I could come up with was, I'm not a runner. But I classified myself as I'm not a runner for what reason? Like what makes me not a runner? Because I'm scared to try, because I'm scared to actually put the effort towards doing it, because I'm scared that I'm gonna fail and failure freaks me out just like any other person. I looked at her and I was like, wait, I'm kind of down. She's like, you should do it. And literally from that day on, I decided to run a marathon. And running has taught me so many things in just these last 7 weeks, more than weightlifting has even taught me, to be honest. And I've been weightlifting for 10 years of my life. Weightlifting saved my life. I struggle with mental illness, I struggle with anxiety, I struggle with depression, and weight training in the gym sincerely, truly saved my life. So for me to say that running has taught me more than that itself is a very big statement to say. And why do I feel that way? I think because in the gym, I am able to feel strong physically. I am able to push weight that like what human would even try to push the weight? No idea, but I do. It's helped me regain control of my life and my outlook on things. But when there are times that I feel like I'm going to fail, I have somebody there to help spot me or help motivate me. I am able to take a break and then try again and try again. And with running, particularly training for a half marathon or a marathon or ultra running, whatever it is, there are no breaks. There is no one there to push you to make you do the running. There is no person that's gonna help spot you with the running. It's literally you versus you. And your progression is all within yourself. I don't know, it's just something about doing something that I'm scared of and slowly falling in love with the process of it that I find so freaking cool. It's also just taught me a lot about myself. Like, you are capable of so much more than you think you're capable of. Like, you can do hard things, you are capable of hard things, you're stronger than probably your weakest moment that you've ever thought of. how do I even say this? Like, you discover more about yourself at your lowest points, and you discover more about yourself when you try and you struggle. Versus, like, yeah, you could have a happy day, but what do you learn about yourself in those happy moments besides something that you enjoy? Like, what do you learn about yourself? And so that is what I like about running. So anyways, this YouTube video, get it together. Okay. This video, I'm going to go over some of the things that I love with running, or things that have helped me with running. So for starters, if you are looking to just get into running, just start. Okay, so let's go over some of my favorite tips and tricks with running, things that I use, things that I recommend, whether you are just starting out with running or you're training for your first half marathon. So first up, shoes. So I have 3 different favorites. My first favorite pair is going to be the HOKA GAVIOTA 4s. I got these in a half size bigger than my normal shoe size. I went to a store called Roadrunner. I did a whole foot assessment, so they were able to see my stride, see where my stride lands in places, and if I was prone to plantar fasciitis, if I had a bunion, all sorts of things. And these were the shoes that they recommended for me for everyday walking and running. Another shoe, which are my absolute favorite as of now, are going to be the CLIFTONS. Again, it's the HOKA brand. I did a half size bigger for these as well. And why you want to do a half size bigger is it allows your foot for room to breathe, allows your foot for striding. It's not going to crunch off your feet, especially when you're pushing down, so that way you're not going to get a lot of foot injuries. And I'm sure there's a million times more reasons why, but those are going to be some of the main reasons. Also, depending on how hot you get, your feet could swell too, so you don't want it to get crunched. Last pair, these are the most recent ones that I got. These are going to be Brooks. They're the Brooks GLYCERIN 2.0 or 20, I don't really know, but they are extremely comfortable as well. But I think my absolute favorite are going to be the HOKA CLIFTONS. Again, order half a size to a full size bigger. If you're worried about getting a full size bigger, start off with a half size at first, but I promise you're gonna be grateful that you did it. Now, let's go into socks. So Features is my favorite brand, but there's Stance, there's a few other ones, but I've found Features to be my absolute favorite. It's also my washing machine's favorite because it tends to eat them for some reason, which really pisses me off, because running socks aren't cheap. I don't know what's super special about them, but they're not cheap. One thing about running shoes that I do like is that it doesn't really have seams over your toes or underneath your toes, so that's gonna help with blisters, as well as the cushion. So you can get light cushion, ultra light cushion, medium cushion, max cushion. I like somewhere in between, so I usually do ultra plush or ultra light. I don't even know if that's actually, you know what, let's confirm. Let's find out. Let me go to my last Features order because they had a sale and I went ham. So my last order, I did the Elite Max Cushion no-show tab and the Elite Light Cushion no-show tab by Features. And then I like doing the ankle ones, which are the no-shows, and I also like doing the crew ones. Why? Don't really know, but I always recommend just having multiple different kinds. Now, another thing with running, if you are especially like a little bit on the thicker side, you will start getting like chafing. It's like when you're running like this, with it running against your sports bra or in between your thighs. This Body Glide. You rub it on like deodorant, you rub it between your thighs like deodorant. This puppy is going to help with the chafing so much. I highly recommend. I'm also going to link as much as I can on my Amazon storefront, and I will link it down below for you. Now, running, if you are just running like an easy 5 miles, you probably don't really need a water with you. But if you start going above that, sometimes depending on how long you're running for and what your pace is, you may want a water bottle with you. Invest in something like this where you're able to hold it while you run, so it's a little bit easier. This one I actually got for free from Brooks with my order, and it has like a little zipper in here so I can put my keys. Your phone won't fit, but I typically just hold my phone. Some people don't recommend it. If you don't want to hold your phone, you can purchase something like one of these from Amazon or Lululemon, like this one. It goes around your shoulder and you can go ahead and place your phone right there. The only reason I haven't really been wearing this one is because I get tan lines like no other, even though I pack on the SPF. So I just felt like a tan line of this wouldn't be the cutest. So that is why I don't run with that. Another thing you can do is purchase one of these. It's going to be like a little belt, which you can run with. However, I did find that it flaps around. Maybe it's because there's not enough weight in it. I'm going to start running with it though, so I can prepare for my marathon. So I will keep you guys updated. But this one is from Nike. Again, Amazon has a ton, including this Nike one. That's where I got this one, from Nike and Amazon. So you could always use something like that. Now, figuring out your pace, figuring out your cadence, and all sorts of things, you want to use a watch. I use an Apple Watch. A lot of people like a Garmin watch. If you are just beginning though, you don't really need a Garmin watch right away. You want to make sure that you're establishing that habit and that routine and making sure that it's actually going to be something that you take seriously before that. But you can go ahead and program your actual workouts where you can see your current pace, your average pace, your cadence. Now, cadence. I myself even struggle with cadence. So I sometimes listen to 180 beats per minute on Spotify and let us play songs, and I try to run to the rhythm of that. And that will help you with your stride a bit. Now, speaking of stride, a lot of people tend to run like the wrong way. So let's just use here for an example. A lot of people run like they're just like freaking elf, like running. But you don't want that. You want to keep your whole, let me take this off. You don't want to be hunched over at all. Like, you don't want to be running like this. You want to keep your body in line, your shoulders nice and back. You want your feet to land underneath your hips. And you want to start like this at first. Like, you're barely moving. You're literally just, I'm having a great day. I'm almost power walking with a little bit of pep in my step. That is what you want at the beginning. Your body will naturally figure out a stride that's good for you, or you can consult with the coach. I personally have a coach. That was one of the tips that he taught me, and it has made running 50% easier right off the bat. So I recommend trying to shorten your stride, and don't worry about speeding. Just literally, you're just having a good old day. You're having a good old day. And as you get faster, your body naturally figures out what works for you. Bringing y'all back. Oh, Zona, you took my spot. My dog took my spot. Energy. So, I don't know about you guys, but your girl gets tired. And now this is also going to play a role with your heart rate. A lot of people are like, why do you care so much about your heart rate being low? So, I found this whole little article for you guys all about heart rates and the different zones. So there's 5 different zones. There's zone 1, which is going to be very light. Zone 2, which is light. Zone 3, moderate. Zone 4, hard. Zone 5, maximum. Okay? Now, your maximum heart rate should be, if you want to try to figure it out without actually doing testing for it, 220 minus your age. Okay? So that's how you figure it out. And then you're going to go ahead and look at a little table like this, do the calculations, and figure out what zone you are in. If you do have an Apple Watch or a Garmin, it will actually tell you the zones for you, so you don't have to do the math. So I prefer to be in zone 1 to 3. Zone 1 to 2 is going to be the aerobic. Aerobic. I always feel like I say that wrong, but it's going to be, it doesn't create lactic acid. Lactic acid is going to be where your legs feel heavy, you feel exhausted, your cortisol levels are going to be pretty, your cortisol levels are pretty high if you're generating too much lactic acid. So I like zones 1 and 2 because you're not creating that lactic acid. It should feel pretty easy, effortless. You're in a fat burning stage versus you're burning a ton of muscle or carbohydrates. Zone 3, which is going to be the lactic threshold system, that is going to be a combination of aerobic and anaerobic systems using a combination of fat and carbohydrates to create energy. I'm gonna go ahead and actually just link this whole thing for you guys so that way you could read more about it. But I try to stay in those 3 ranges because when you're going to zone 4 and 5, especially as a female, your cortisol levels are gonna be super high. You're gonna be like out of breath. It's not gonna be enjoyable. You're basically freaking sprinting and you do not want that. So even this, it says your normal heart rate for running should be around zone 3. So you are good. All right, anyways, energy wise, sometimes I'll chew like 2 or 3 of these before I run. They are called Honey Stinger Energy Chews. They have all sorts of flavors. They literally just taste like a more sugary version of the gummy bear. But I really like these. I've been testing them out for my marathon training just to figure out what works best for me. Another thing is going to be Huma. Will I? Will I open it? I can't open it. It is all of these little containers. So these are basically going to be long-lasting chia energy. So let's just go to a random one. This one is going to be the chocolate flavor. So this is 100 calories, 1 gram of fat, 25 grams of carbs, 15 grams of that is going to be sugar. Now this is going to help you with running so much. This is going to be something that if you are doing those long distance and you stop, you don't have any more glucose storage for your body to burn, this will help you with that. So, you don't need that right off the beginning. This is more so like if you're actually training for a half marathon, and you need help with that because you're running for a long period of time and your body already burns the energy storages it already has. Shin splints. One thing that I recommend for shin splints, stretch your calves every freaking day. Stretch your calves because that's going to correlate with those shins feeling extra tight. Also your stride. So I don't know if you're gonna be running on a treadmill, you're gonna be running on pavement, running on trail, but your stride is really going to be a big factor, that stride and shoes with the shin splints. The reason I have so many different running shoes is because you like to alternate it. The bottom of your running shoes, this is going to be a foam. The more miles you pack in, the more that this foam is going to get packed and it's going to be less absorbent of the impact that you're making when you run. Another trick that someone has taught me is take a water bottle, fill it up almost like about here and freeze it. And then once it's frozen, you're literally going to take your shin and you're just going to rub it. Rub it all on your shins. Like even this just water bottle, not even being frozen, feels great. But that's like a little cheap homemade trick that you can do. Another trick, Hyper Ice and HOKA. I love you guys. I just want you guys to know I love you. I don't know if you guys will ever see this, probably not, but if you ever want to sign someone, I would love it and I would be honored. Anyways, okay. Hyper Ice. This, magic. It is magic. This for your calves, this for your whole body, this for your feet. Y'all hear that? The damage this thing can do it in the best way possible is great. This is one of the older editions. They have ones that are half the size of this, but I don't buy things until they're broken, so that is why I still have that one. Another thing, these Normatecs. These leg contraptions. This isn't mine, this is actually my coach that he let me borrow because he knows that I'm training for it, and these are not cheap. These are like $800 to like $1,000. They're freaking expensive, and I checked on Black Friday and they were still just expensive, so I didn't get any. But he's been so nice to let me use them, and if you have the financial ability and you want to buy them, absolutely, they're great for both weightlifting and runners. They also have calf versions, but you literally just stick your leg in, and then this whole thing will inflate and apply pressure to your legs. Oh my gosh, it helps so much with circulation, it helps with inflammation, it helps with recovery. Absolutely amazing. All right, recovery. One thing that I love, Pure Rebuild creatine. Creatine, yes, is known for helping people with lean muscle mass when they pair it with proper training routine and nutrition. But there's also so many case studies on it for recovery, whether that's for weight trainers, runners, normal go-to people. Highly recommend. This has helped with my recovery so much. Another thing that has helped me sodium-wise are these. They're Element. You can get them from Amazon or probably like a local sauna place. They are literally just going to be flavored little packets of salt. And they help so much because I don't know about you, but for me when I run, I tend to be prone to side stitches. So that's going to be that like really horrible pain that you feel on your side where you're running and you're just like, ugh, like I need to stop, this hurts so bad. Drinking one of these before you run is going to help so much. Another thing that's going to help is your breathing technique. So try like a 2-2 method. So into your nose. If that's a little bit too fast for you, then you could do like, I think it's like a 4-4 method where you go. It's literally just the amount of time you hold it and the amount of time that you exhale. But that's going to help also because the side stitches could also be contributed from your lungs heavily expanding or the impact from the running. There's multiple things, figuring out what it is can really help you. But for me, I noticed it was the sodium, so incorporating these has helped me so much. Now, if you are training as in weight training, but then you're also going to be incorporating running and you're worrying about losing muscle, I definitely recommend not running as frequently. So I only run 3 days a week, but one of my other friends, they run 6 days a week because it works best for them. But for me, my coach and I, we are trying to help maintain as much muscle mass as we possibly can. And my calories have honestly like doubled because of how much I'm exerting with my cardiovascular training, aka running. So I don't count calories. My dog is going apeshit over her bone right now. I don't count calories, but I'm probably 3,000 something right now, to be completely honest. Like as soon as I wake up, my body is starving. I eat a bagel, I eat a banana, I eat peanut butter, honey, like I eat egg, I just go ham. And then like 30 minutes later, I have a whole nother breakfast because my body is just starving. Before running, if I'm running in the morning, I'll just have a quick banana because too much on my stomach can make me feel sick. But if I'm running later in the day, I just make sure that I really prioritize my water over coffee or anything else because, again, side stitches, tummy aches, they're not fun. One thing people don't really tell you about running and that I have learned is the longer you run, the more kind of feeling of you literally feel like you have to poop. Like, I kid you not. It's a weird feeling, but it happens. And at first I was like, am I weird? Is this normal? I've talked to so many people and apparently it's very common when you're first starting to feel like you have to go to the bathroom. So don't be alarmed if that feeling happens. You won't actually go to the bathroom on yourself or anything, but that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I think I need to go to the bathroom, it's normal. Don't freak out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and look at like some of the questions that people have been asking. Where do you store your iPhone? I hold it or I put it in one of those things that I was talking to you guys about. Shin splints, already went over. Have I noticed physique changes? Yes. So I have noticed, I've been measuring myself actually like every 2 weeks and I've lost about ½ an inch on my glutes, hip area. My waist has gone down ½ an inch, but everything else has stayed fairly the same, maybe 1/4 of an inch off, like my thighs. But I am just starting out and my mileages isn't too high right now. My max mileages is only 8 miles right now. I cannot believe it. I said that, only 8 miles. Like, what? Who do I think I am? But if I were to continue doing this as a lifestyle, my physique would definitely change. And it's just kind of bound to happen, but there are a lot of things that you can do to try to maintain both. But it is going to be really hard for you if you do want to, let's say, take running very seriously, sign up for a half marathon and a marathon. It's very hard for you to progress with running, but then also progress with strength training. It's a lot on your knees, it's a lot on your joints. You got to take care of your body and got to take care of your cortisol level. Recovery is going to be key. Shoes that I've already gone over. Does your face sweat when running with shades? So I just run usually with either these cheap little sunglasses from Amazon that I love, they feel super light, or I run with like my tighter Celine glasses and they don't slide, but they actually have running sunglasses. One brand that I know a lot of people use is Blenders. They're just not for me. I feel like I am like supposed to be running like that, and that's not me. I'm just taking my jolly old time, so I don't need that advanced stuff. But do I sweat? Yes. Do the sunglasses fall? Surprisingly not. My hair does get in the freaking way though, so I'm always having it in a sleek back, nice braid, so that way it doesn't get in the way. I don't need anything else to feel more annoying than my hair. Like this, imagine this being sweaty on you, just dangling. It is not enjoyable. It's gross. It's disgusting. How fast am I going? Do not compare your pace to anyone else. Compare your pace to yourself. You're gonna progress week over week. There are going to be some runs that feel extremely easy and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm finally getting good at this. And then there's gonna be some runs where it's the same exact distance the next week and you're gonna be like, this feels unbearable. You're gonna feel defeated. You're gonna be like, what the heck happened? I thought I was doing good. It's the same thing as weight training. It's not going to be linear. It's going to be kind of all over the place, but trust the process and know that you are going to be progressing. My personal training program is done by my coach, so I don't want to share my personal program until I'm done, just out of respect for him and his business. But he does structure me with 3 runs a week. The first run is going to be like a speed run or a fartlek, which is such a funny name, like fartlek, like are you powered by your farts? Like what the heck? I have no idea. It's a funny name, but that's basically where you change your paces. There's also hill training, cross training. It's a whole new breed of its own, but that's one day. The second day is going to be like a moderate run, so fairly easy pace, but a moderate distance. And then my last run is a long distance run. So those are the 3 runs that I do every single week. Sometimes I switch them around, but our goal is for me not to be running back to back to back. My camera died, I am so sorry, but the last question that I had was how do I deal with creeps? Because majority of the time I am running in a sports bra. I highly recommend running in a public place. I always run either by a beach or a very populated bike path, and I always run during the day. I know that it isn't a luxury for some people. Some people have to run before or after work, especially with the time change. It gets dark. Ask somebody to run with you, and always, always, always share your location with someone. I know it may be annoying to bring your phone with you, but bring your freaking phone with you. That could be a lifesaver. I cannot stress that enough. I know that locally they have a lot of run clubs where women or men can run with other people if they don't want to run alone. But always share your location with someone. Try your best to run during the day. Always wear SPF. That's not a really safety thing, but it kind of is. Wink, wink. And always, always try to run in a populated area or with other people. Your safety comes first. If you live in a very secluded area, very suburbs, there's nowhere that you feel safe to run, you have no one to run with, skip that run for the day, move it to another day, maybe go to the gym and run on a treadmill just for that day. You gotta put your safety first over anything. So anyways, those are some of my tips and tricks and a little bit of my half marathon training. Like holy freaking crud. Sona, are you good, baby? Are you good? I hope this video helped you. I hope it inspired you to maybe try to run. The amount of DMs I've gotten just in this short bit of people being really motivated and inspired to start running has been a blessing of itself, and it makes me really happy. And yeah, I love you guys so much. If you have any other questions that I can help you with, put them in the comments, because I'm going to make this a series and continue on talking about my running if you guys want to hear about it. So I love you. And oh, also, I haven't posted it yet, but I plan on doing this run for American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Suicide is something that I hold close to my heart, as in I want to help prevent it and be a helping hand to whomever needs it, whether you've lost somebody or you've struggled with it yourself. And yeah, so stay tuned, because I will be posting the link for that to help donate for an amazing cause. So I love you guys, and I will catch you in the next one.